Let me ask you something. When was the last time you truly challenged yourself? I'm not talking about hitting the gym once a week or reading a few self-help quotes. I mean going to war with your comfort, tearing your old identity apart and facing the pain you keep running from. Most people don't do that. They scroll, they cope, they run. But you're still here, listening, watching. That tells me something powerful. You're not like them. You're the kind of person Marcus Aurelius would have written about, because you're ready to face the storm inside you. Marcus once wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." He knew suffering wasn't something to fear. It was a fire you step into to forge discipline. Real power doesn't come from ease. It comes from training your mind to dominate when the world wants you to submit. Your real enemy isn't out there. It's within. It's the voice that tells you to stay comfortable, stay quiet, stay the same. It's your hesitation, your fear of becoming the version of yourself that terrifies weaker people. And that fear, that's the signal. That's where the challenge begins. Because the more you avoid the hard path, the more control life has over you. But the more you choose discomfort voluntarily, the more untouchable you become. You want strength, you want clarity, then stop running, start resisting, start rising. Comment this right now if you're ready. I was born to challenge myself. Say it and mean it. This isn't just a video. Lit it. A wardroom. A declaration. A call to become dangerous. Not to others, but to the weakness inside you. Welcome to Stoic Wind. Let's begin. You will never defeat the world until you first defeat yourself. That's the harsh truth Marcus Aurelius lived by. He understood that the real enemy is not fate, not society, not even the people who disrespect you. The true war is fought in silence, behind your eyes. Every morning you wake up and decide whether to remain weak or rise like a soldier of the mind. Your thoughts are not innocent. They are either building your future or sabotaging it in secret. Comfort whispers in your ear, tells you it's okay to stay the same, to take it easy. But growth demands sacrifice, and sacrifice hurts. It's supposed to. That's why so few people ever evolve, because the price is too high for those who live soft. But here's the truth dark psychology teaches us. Your mind is a battlefield, and if you don't take control of it, someone or something else will. Pain, laziness, distraction, they're all trying to recruit your mind, and every time you avoid discomfort, you're surrendering a piece of yourself to them. Marcus trained himself to be unaffected by pain, unmoved by praise, and unshaken by failure. He didn't do it for admiration. He did it because he knew something most people never realize. If you don't challenge yourself daily, life will break you eventually, and when it does, you'll have no weapons left. This is why you must embrace struggle, choose the path of resistance. Don't just do what's easy, do what's necessary. Comment this if you understand. I train in pain to master peace. Say it, own it. Let the weak cling to comfort. Let the strong chase adversity. This is your path now. Welcome to the fire. There's a secret weapon known only to the few who walk the Stoic path: voluntary suffering. While others run from discomfort, the Stoic runs toward it, not because they enjoy pain, but because they understand its purpose. Marcus Aurelius didn't just tolerate suffering, he invited it. He knew that the man who chooses to suffer voluntarily becomes immune to the suffering forced upon him. Think about that. What happens when you deliberately expose yourself to hardship, mentally, physically, emotionally? You stop fearing it. You grow armor. You develop an inner fortress so unshakable that the chaos of the world can knock, scream, and rage, and you remain still, controlled, focused. Modern minds are addicted to ease. Everything is designed to be quicker, softer, more convenient. But the Stoic mind, it thrives in resistance. Voluntary discomfort is the gym for your soul. Wake up early when your body wants sleep. Speak the truth when your fear says to stay quiet. Take cold showers. Lift heavy. Stay silent when provoked. These are not punishments. They are training grounds. Dark psychology tells us something chilling. If you don't voluntarily shape your behavior, someone else will. Society will mold you into a consumer, a follower, a victim. But when you embrace suffering by choice, you take your identity into your own hands, you become dangerous. Not to others, but to everything that once controlled you. So ask yourself, what pain are you willing to endure to become unbreakable? What part of you needs to die so your true self can be reborn? Comment this if you're ready. My pain is my preparation. That's just a phrase. It's a lifestyle. This is Stoic wind, and you're not here to be safe. You're here to become something greater. Self-discipline is the invisible crown that separates the weak from the powerful. You won't see it on their heads, but you'll feel it in their presence. A man who controls his impulses, who chooses clarity over chaos and restraint over reaction. He walks with a calm that shakes the world. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, yet his greatest conquest was his own mind. That wasn't luck, it was discipline. Discipline is quiet. It doesn't post online. It doesn't beg for attention, but it rewires your life in ways motivation never can. Motivation dies after a few hours. Discipline, it stays with you in the dark, when no one is watching, when you're tempted to quit. It holds the line when your emotions try to pull you away from your principles. The Stoics taught that freedom doesn't come from doing whatever you want. It comes from doing what's right, even when you don't want to, especially when you don't want to. You want to build a life of strength, then stop negotiating with your excuses. Your emotions are temporary. Your standards are eternal. Dark psychology reminds us the world is filled with manipulators, advertisers, social media, even friends. They prey on your impulses. If you don't command yourself, someone else will. But when you become disciplined, no one can seduce you with cheap pleasure. No one can bait you into emotional chaos. That's real power. That's untouchable. You don't rise by doing what feels good. You rise by doing what's necessary. Wake up early. Train even when you're tired. Say no when temptation knocks. Speak less. Observe more. Rise out people who poison your progress. These are not sacrifices. They are declarations of who you are becoming. So ask yourself, what kind of king are you if you can't rule your own thoughts? What kind of warrior are you if you fall to every craving? Comment this now if you're serious. Discipline is my power. Let the world chase comfort. You chase command over self. That's the Stoic way. That's the way of the few. Is it Stoic wind, and your crown is forged in silence, in suffering, in self-restraint. Wear it like a ghost, rule with fire, and never, ever bow to your weakness again. Weak men don't avoid growth because they can't achieve it. They avoid it because it exposes them. Growth reveals your flaws. It forces you to confront the uncomfortable reality that you are not enough yet. That's a terrifying truth for those who would rather protect their ego than elevate their character. Marcus Aurelius knew this. That's why he said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." The weak cannot handle this kind of truth. It burns. Growth strips away everything fake, the lies you tell yourself, the habits you hide behind, the distractions you use to numb the emptiness. When you start growing, you start dying. At least the old version of you do. And weak men would rather live as a shadow than bury who they were to rise as someone greater. But here's what dark psychology teaches us. Avoidance is a defense mechanism. Weak minds create stories, blame others, or mask their fear with arrogance. They make excuses. They chase validation. They run from silence, because silence screams the truth they don't want to hear. But the Stoic doesn't run from silence. He studies it, he endures it, he uses it. You see, growth doesn't come wrapped in praise or pleasure. It arrives disguised as pain, as failure, as isolation. That's why so few people touch greatness. It's guarded by discomfort. And the gatekeepers, their fear, doubt, and ego, only those willing to kill those parts of themselves get to pass through. So ask yourself, are you growing, or are you just decorating your cage? Are you becoming more disciplined, more focused, more silent, or are you just louder in your distractions? Comment this if you're done hiding from who you must become. I choose pain over comfort. I choose growth. Say it. Let it burn away your excuses. This is Stoic wind, and we don't fear growth. We devour it. Emotion is not your enemy, but the lack of control over it is. Marcus Aurelius faced betrayal, war, illness, and the death of his children. And yet he ruled with calm. He wrote not to impress the world, but to remind himself, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That's not just wisdom, that's a command. Weak people are ruled by emotion. They get triggered, offended, addicted. They lash out, seek revenge, chase validation. Why? Because they never learned to sit with the fire. The Stoic doesn't react, he reflects. He doesn't explode, he endures. He doesn't suppress emotion, he masters it. Dark psychology tells us that emotions are the easiest thing to manipulate. Watch how quickly people break under pressure. A single insult and they spiral. A little rejection and they collapse. That's why mastering your emotions is one of the most terrifying forms of power. Because when you control your reactions, no one can use you like a puppet. You become unreadable, unshakable. When someone disrespects you, you don't argue, you observe. When life hits you hard, you don't break, you adjust. This isn't about being cold, it's about being composed. Calmness is not weakness, it's a weapon, and most people don't even know it exists. Imagine a man who can walk through chaos with the same face he walks through peace. That man cannot be broken. That man owns himself. That man is you, if you decide to become him. So I want you to type this in the comments right now. I control my emotions. They do not control me. Say it, believe it, let it become your armor. Because when you master your mind, nothing external can shake your inner world. This is Stoic wind, and here we train in calm the way warriors train in blood. You will never become invincible until you learn to stand alone. Marcus Aurelius wrote his greatest lessons in solitude, not in the Senate, not on the battlefield, but in the silence of his own mind. He didn't need applause. He needed truth, and truth is something the crowd can't give you, only isolation can. Weak men fear being alone because silence exposes their chaos. There's no one to impress, no distractions to run to, just them and their thoughts. But the Stoic embraces this, because in isolation you meet the real you, the one that doesn't perform, doesn't lie, doesn't pretend, just the raw, unfiltered self. Dark psychology reminds us, people use noise to escape their own minds. Parties, scrolling, endless conversations. They're all distractions from internal war. But if you truly want to evolve, you need to cut the noise. You need to go dark, go deep, and sit with the version of yourself you've been avoiding. That's where growth begins. Isolation isn't punishment, it's purification. When you remove the voices of the world, you can finally hear the voice of your purpose. The real work, the rewiring, the rebuilding, the resurrection, happens in private. That's why the most dangerous men are forged in silence, not in the spotlight, in the shadows. If you're in a season of loneliness, don't resist it. Use it, train in it, build in it, reflect, detach, level up. Learn to walk without applause. Learn to suffer without telling anyone. Learn to grow without validation. That is invincibility. Now say this with me and comment it down below. My silence builds my power. This is not the time to be seen. This is the time to become. When you rise from this isolation, the world won't even recognize you. And that's exactly the point. This is Stoic wind. And here, solitude isn't weakness. It's the anvil where legends are hammered into shape. You were not born to be soft. You were not born to live on autopilot, chained to habits that make you weaker. You were born to dominate, not the world first, but yourself. Marcus Aurelius ruled the largest empire in the world, but even he knew that the greatest kingdom he could conquer was his own mind. What use is power if you are a slave to your emotions, your urges, your impulses? What use is freedom if you're imprisoned by your own thought? This is where most people fail. They think discipline is punishment. They think self-restraint is boring. But a Stoic sees it differently. Self-destination is liberation. It means you no longer live at the mercy of mood swings or toxic patterns. It means you can walk into chaos and remain composed, not because you're numb, but because you've trained your mind to serve you, not sabotage you. Dark psychology teaches us that the easiest person to manipulate is the one who lacks inner control, the one who's reactive, the one who's ruled by cravings. That's why emotional self-domination is terrifying to those who wish to control you, because when you command yourself, no one else can. You become unpredictable, untouchable, and that kind of power, it changes everything. So let's be clear. You are not here to be average. You're not here to blend in. You're here to train your mind like a blade, to say no when the world begs you to say yes, to choose hard work when comfort seduces you, to remain silent when your ego screams, to do what must be done, especially when no one is watching. The weak avoid responsibility. They call it freedom, but it's really escape. The Stoic embraces responsibility. He wears it like armor, because he knows that true power is not given. It's earned through daily domination of self. So ask yourself, do you own your mind, or does your mind own you? Are you leading your life, or just reacting to it? Comment this below if you're ready to take control at all costs. I was born to master myself. This is more than a phrase. It's your new identity. This is Stoic wind, and here we don't chase motivation. We chase mastery, thought by thought, day by day, until domination becomes destiny. You weren't meant to fit in. You were meant to stand out and disrupt. When you begin to master yourself, the world will feel it. And let me be clear, the world does not like it when a man becomes unshakable. Your silence will offend the loud. Your control will expose the impulsive. Your discipline will remind them of everything they lack. That's why strong people make weak people uncomfortable. Marcus Aurelius never chased attention. He led with example, ruled with wisdom, and endured betrayal, pressure, and chaos without breaking character. He wasn't concerned with being liked. He was committed to being aligned. His strength made others uncomfortable, but that discomfort was necessary. It either inspired them or revealed their cowardice. Dark psychology tells us this. When you rise, the insecure will feel threatened. They will mock your focus. They'll question your solitude. They'll try to pull you back into mediocrity because your growth challenges their excuses. That's not a sign to shrink. It's proof you're ascending. You must learn to let your strength speak for itself. When you walk into a room, let your discipline announce your presence. When you stay calm in chaos, let others wonder how you do it. You don't need to explain. You don't need approval. You don't need applause. Your strength is not a performance, it's a lifestyle. Understand this. Every time you choose growth over gossip, control over chaos, silence over attention, you're creating a version of yourself that shakes weak minds. Let them feel that quake. Let them adjust or leave. That's not arrogance. That's leadership. That's sovereignty. And if you ever feel alone in that process, remember, this is your final test. Not tomorrow, not next week, now. Because after everything you've heard, Marcus Aurelius didn't live an easy life. He faced plague, betrayal, loss, and the burden of ruling millions. Yet, through it all, he chose the warrior's path, not of violence, but of virtue, not of noise, but of discipline, and his greatest weapon, his unwavering commitment to living with reason, purpose, and power. A Stoic warrior doesn't need an army, he doesn't need armor. His battle is internal, and he wins it every single day through discipline, restraint, courage, and clarity. He doesn't seek revenge, he seeks mastery. He doesn't speak to be heard, he speaks when silence is no longer enough. Dark psychology teaches us that most people will never transform, not because they can't, but because they won't face the pain required. But you're still here. That means something. That means you're not watching this for entertainment. You're watching this to become. So this is your call to arms. Enough overthinking, enough waiting for the perfect moment, initiating with your weakness. The path is brutal, the journey is lonely, but what lies on the other side is something no one can take from you. Inner sovereignty, unshakable control, warrior discipline. Earn the excuses, silence the doubt, face the fire. And comment this one final time: I am becoming the Stoic warrior. Let it echo across this community. Let it be the declaration that separates the spectators from the soldiers. And if this message hit you, truly hit you, then don't just sit with it. Act, like this video. Subscribe, turn the notifications on, and drop your voice into the comments below. Not for me, but for you. To mark this moment where everything changed. Because this isn't just another video. This is your awakening, this is Stoic wind, and your war begins now.